happening, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I've got another underused match. This is using the same team as I have been. This will be the last battle I have with this team for a while. I know I've been using it quite a bit, but I ended up having this pretty solid match as well. So this is against Toxicity from Twitter, and everybody uses the female character. It's a guy, so I'm probably gonna say he. But yeah, so looking at my opponent's team, it's honestly looking pretty scary. It's got some pretty big UU threats like Mega Manectric. I'm afraid of the Scizor. The Serperior is always a problem. And then he's rocking the Latias, which you never really know what to expect from that thing. They've got a lot of options, but the one thing I notice is that my Beedrill does put in the finest of work here, so I want to conserve that thing. Along with my Choice Scarf Chandelure, looks like it could work really well, and also Registeel does a great job of walling a lot of his attackers, so let's go ahead and just jump right into the match here. Alright, so I wasn't really sure what they were going to want to lead off with, so I'm just going to start off with Beedrill and your mom. I lead off with Fork just so I can get a nice U-turn off and kind of just scout out what they decide to go with, as I end up seeing Scizor here. So that's a terrible matchup for Beedrill. This is some bug-on-bug action I'm not really down for, so I am going to pop the Mega Evolution and then go ahead and U-turn out of here because that is it's pretty scary. So I bring out the big needle and ready to fork some bitches up, but I just go for the U-turn here, and I actually end up getting a solid amount of damage, which tells me this is probably going to be more of an offensive Scizor, so that's pretty good to know, as I'm now just going to bring in my Registeel. I want to get some Stealth Rock up, but then again, it could be risky if this thing ends up carrying superpowers, so he goes for the knockoff. That does a buttload of damage because I'm actually especially defensive, and this thing is going to switch out. So I'm feeling like this thing probably doesn't have superpower, which is nice, as in comes the freaking Swampert. So I do go ahead and toss out some Stealth Rock, which is fantastic, as I'm assuming this Swampert probably wants to do the exact same thing, and I don't really feel like taking an Earthquake. Plus, I just don't have much to deal damage on that thing in return, so I'm just going to switch right into my Primarina, as the thing does set up the Stealth Rock, so I'm able to bring in my Sugar Mama for free. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and play it safe and just go for a nice little Specs Moonblast. If he decides to stay in, it'll do a whole lot to that Swampert, and it can't one-hit KO me, but he ends up switching into the Alolan Muck here, who does take the Specs Moonblast pretty well, and it looks like it could be a potential 2-hit KO, but I don't want to really risk it in a low roll, and I really could use my my Primarina here. So I'm just going to switch right into my Donphan. My boy Rick does a great job of walling this Alolan Muck here, so it just goes for a knockoff, which does kind of suck because it gets rid of my leftovers, but it doesn't do too much damage, and now I can scare this thing out with an Earthquake, but I know they're going to switch out, so I'm just going to go for a knockoff of my own, and in comes the Scizor to take that. So after the Stealth Rock damage, knockoff actually ends up doing quite a bit here, and it's going to actually put it in red HP, and actually end up knocking off its Choice Band. So that does show me kind of this thing was Choice Banded, and that's kind of scary, but he's just going to go for a Bullet Punch. I'm assuming he went for that just because he wanted to get something off before I went for an Ice Shard, but I end up Rapid Spinning instead because I want to get rid of those Stealth Rocks, because Beedrill is going to have a much easier time switching in now, and that is awesome. So now this thing is going to go for a U-turn, knocks me down to red HP, as now he's going to go into the Swampert yet again. So I went for a knockoff again just because I knew it would take out the Scizor, and if he did end up switching, it'll get rid of an item, so that's awesome. I get that off on the Swampert, and there are just items all over the damn ground here. So many knockoffs happening. There's gonna be somebody with a metal detector walking around on this battlefield later, but I'm just gonna switch into my Primarina here as this thing goes for a Scald. I can save that Donphan for Death Fodder later because it was a free switch into my Primarina here because I know I can take at least one attack, and now I'm in a really good position to just go for another Moonblast. It doesn't end up knocking out the Swampert, but he didn't really have anything else he could do. That Alolan Muck can't switch into another one, and the only thing he can really do at this point is end up just going for a Toxic on me. So that's not too big of a deal. I'm just gonna be able to outspeed this thing and knock it out, and to be honest, I really thought that last Moonblast was going to kill this thing, but it lived it with like 1 HP, and you know, I paid the price with a Toxic for that. So finally the Swampert is going to go down. I'm the better water starter today, bitch, as now he is going to have a free switch, and he decides to go into the Mega Manectric. So I do have the Registeel on my team to be able to take care of this thing, but I know that he does have Overheat, or Flamethrower, I suppose, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and switch into my Donphan here. I figure I'm probably going to be able to catch it on an Electric attack, and then I'll be able to get a little bit of damage with an Ice Shard. So he's going to Mega Evolve, get all super sorts of pointy, and that is intimidating because, you know, who wants to touch that electric ass dog? Too sharp. But so he does go for the Volt Switch. I eat that up because I'm ground type, and now I can just go ahead and get a nice little Ice Shard off to be able to, you know, try to get a little bit as much damage as I can before I die. And he does show me that he does have the hidden power Ice or Grass, so that's gonna knock me out. But that's fine because Donphan I was going to go down earlier anyway, so that's perfect. This allows me a Revenge Switch, and now I can bring in Mega Beedrill. And since I got a little bit of damage off on this thing, it looks like Drill Run will be able to take that thing out. Plus, I outspeed because I'm fast as tits, and he ends up just going into the Play-Doh here after the Stealth Rock. This thing probably wasn't going to do too much, so he goes ahead and sacks that thing off as a Drill Run is going to go ahead and destroy that thing. So down goes the Play-Doh, and B-Drill is pretty much just ready to take some lives, as in comes the Latias. And the only time someone's going to switch in a Latias on a matchup against a Mega B-Drill is if they're Choice Scarf. So I don't want to make the mistake of staying in here and taking a Side Shock, so I'm just going to switch right into my Doorknob, as he does go for that, and I am expecting this thing to be Scarf. So I mean, there's no other reason for him to bring it in against B-Drill if it wasn't, so Doorknob eats that up, and now I'm just going to end up going for, I believe, just an Iron Head to try to get as much damage as possible, but he's going to bring back in the freaking Mega Manectric here. He does intimidate me. I actually am not Clear Body. I'm Light Metal. I thought I was Clear Body, but I'm the hidden ability, so it doesn't really matter because, you know, Iron Head wouldn't do much anyway, but yeah, so I'm going to end up switching here. I decide to go into my Snorlax, and that is because I'm pretty specially defensive. I have max HP, and I can take a couple hits from this thing as he goes for the Volt Switch, which is kind of a bummer because now he gets a matchup and he's going to bring right back in that Golden Latias. So he gets hurt by some Stealth Rock, and I'm not really too afraid of this thing. I know that I can even take a Draco Meteor at this health, so I'm just going to stay in, and I decide to go for a Body Slam here as this thing ends up going for the Trick. So he is going to go ahead and steal my leftovers, and he gives me a Choice Scarf in return, and now I am a Choice Scarfed Snorlax, which is you know, pretty fucking metal. So I go for the Body Slam there. It is going to do a bunch of damage, and I'm really glad that I didn't try to start setting up curses because I would have been pretty screwed there being stuck into curse. So before he dies, he's going to go ahead and get a nice little defog. Blows away the Stealth Rock on his side of the field, which is nice for him, as one more Body Slam is going to take care of that thing, and that's awesome because that was a big threat against my Mega B-Drill, which I needed as a win condition for this match. So seeing that thing go down is really satisfying, and now he is going to bring in the Scizor here. So I'm expecting him to probably go for Superpower if he ends up having it, so I'm going to switch into my Chandelure here. I'm trying to catch it with that and then being able to finish it off with the Flamethrower, but he ends up just going for the U-turn here, which is obviously not going to do much damage, but it allows him a matchup. And I am actually Choice Scarf, so I'm not worried about that Manectric, as he is going to bring that thing in, and I am going to be faster. So it's not going to take any Stealth Rock damage, but it is still in range to die to a Shadow Ball. So luckily, I am Choice Scarf, so I'm able to go for that. And a Shadow Ball is going to take care of the Mega Manectric, so that thing goes down. And that is pretty awesome. I've been using Choice Scarf Chandelure for fucking years, and this thing never lets me down. So now his only Pokemon other than the Scizor is going to be the Superior, and I don't really have any reason to switch out here. I know I'm going to be faster, so I'm just going to go for a couple Shadow Balls. I actually end up getting the Special Defense drop on that thing, but since it has the contrary, it's actually going to give him a Special Defense boost, and that is kind of shitty because he can go for a Leaf Storm there. It's going to give him that +2. I go for another Shadow Ball, and since he got that hacks, it gave him a boost, and it's not going to be able to knock him out. But this time he goes for a Giga Drain. I'm assuming he expected that to kill, but I'm able to live it with 19 HP, which is awesome. And now one more Shadow Ball is going to be able to take care of the Superior. So I kind of just thought that Special Defense drop was kind of funny. I've never seen that on a Pokemon with Contrary, and it kind of helped him out. He probably should have gone for Leaf Storm there, but then again, I did still have Mega B-Drill to be able to outspeed that thing. But now he goes into his last Pokemon, which is going to be that Scizor. Bullet Punch is going to take me out, unfortunately, but I've still got a couple Pokemon on my team that should be fit to handle this thing, so I decided to go into Doorknob just because I kind of wanted Registeel to be able to get the final KO here, but he shows me that he does have Superpower, which I've been kind of worried about this whole match, so that is going to take me out. But the good news about him having to go for the Superpower is that he has to lower his own attack, and that is going to make it so B-Drill should be able to take a Bullet Punch even if he gets a critical hit. So I bring in Fork, and you already know what's about to happen. Some bitch is about to get forked up. So he goes for one last Bullet Punch. I am able to take that nicely, and thanks to that special, or that attack drop. So a Drill Run is going to take care of the Scizor, and that is going to be the end of the match there. So I thought that was a pretty good one. I had some fun with this team. It is going to go retired for now because I've got a solid amount of videos out of it, but thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe for some more Wi-Fi battles. Peace out.